Rupert has a book called You Are the Happiness You Seek, and I was reading it a while back. But I was just kind of reflecting on some of the things he referred to in there. When we talk about awareness and consciousness, and when I reflect back on when I try to explain these things to someone close to me, I have difficulty with it. But when I'm trying to explain the process that we went through to understand what it is, I reflect back, even as a young person, a newlywed even, where I could sit, and I'm sure you've had the experience too, but I can sit, or I would sit, and I could be watching the family, watching TV, and the family dynamics, or just watching the movie of the activity going on in the room, and still be aware of my mind and my thoughts and my body sensations. So it's a really great way to see where what's behind, how you can be behind the dynamics of what's going on in the world, or what's going on the outside. And then Rupert suggests usually that you take it even further to when you're even behind your mind, and your feelings, or your mind and thoughts and sensations, or mind is thoughts. Anyway, when you're even behind that, where you can see that as well, like on the movie. So there's three dynamics there, where you're watching the world, watching things going on in the world, and you're still there in your mind and body, and you're behind that, and you're watching yourself, watching the world. There is the dynamic. There is awareness. That's where you can actually recognize what awareness is. But the thing is we don't normally break that down or notice that, because when I would do that before, I think that I was totally in my mind, my thoughts and sensations of my body, watching the family just in the background. But now, I don't remember ever going beyond that, or I didn't recognize it, which is what we would do to overlook that part. I consider that well, I don't want to say the God thing, because awareness is consciousness, which is God. So But so the awareness part, I don't remember seeing that awareness then. But now, I breaking it down, I can feel, I can be aware of the world and be aware of myself watching the world. So there is the being aware that I'm aware part, which is really important, because I think that's something that we do overlook, and it's hard to it's really hard to break that down. So it's a really great understanding of ourselves. Because you are, I am happiness. Because awareness, consciousness, God, is not contaminated and is pure and is everything and everywhere. And that in itself is love and happiness. And so I love that title of that book. You are the happiness you seek. I'm not advertising a book. I know it sounds like it, but I'm really not. I'm just reflecting on some inner work, or some inner dynamics I've been reflecting on myself, because I've noticed blocks that keep me from dropping some of this, some of these walls and barriers that I have from conditioning. And they just pop up. It's like I can feel the block the minute I tighten up at all. So yesterday I laid with something for a long, long time, and it was very uncomfortable. It was hard to sit with. And then finally it started oozing its way out. But for some reason, this brought this up about those 3 elements. And so I had to go take a look at that again, because after I went through that regurgitating something past, that connection to my childhood and past, in a deeper sense. It keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So it brought to my mind those 3 elements, because when I was going through that childhood part, I was remembering 2 of the elements, because I could remember that I could get in back of the world so easily. That's always been a natural thing for me, but I don't recognize that that's a natural thing, because now I'm actually got my attention on the 3 elements, and that's a new addition to that. So I've been noticing that. And so when I went back in my childhood yesterday and I was dealing with that, I was trying to be as intimate as I could with my child part, so that I could try to bring up get to the root and the bottom of some pain or hurt. So, yeah. So, when I was going through that child part and I was getting into the older, going through those phases, I was remembering how natural that was to get in back of things, because, yeah, that's actually where I wanted to be, is in back of things. But I do not see how I could have gotten in back of that. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud, because, once I figured out that I had gotten behind, viewing the world in that way, and then as we speak here, I was trying to feel that. I keep trying to feel that, whether I got further than that, just naturally, without knowing what you're doing. And I just don't feel it. I'll have to kind of feel that through some more and see about that. But anyway, you are happiness. You are love. You are happiness. I am too. Everybody is. We just overlook it. I was a victim until I was 57. Or I like to say I was a victim until I wasn't. When I finally figured out, I'm not. If I'd have figured that out sooner, then maybe I wouldn't have gotten myself in so many victimizing situations. I wouldn't have seen it that way. But we don't look back at changing. We don't, I'm just reflecting on, I was thinking about other people and how they might feel those things all their lives. And cannot feel those things just by, like I said, you're a victim until you're not, and now I'm not. And so if you want to know who you are, then know who you are. Find a way, where you don't, it's just, that's the funny thing. I think you just have to open up to love and where that comes from, and find your peace. But we're all made from the same stuff. Good night.